In the 6th year after I helped Adrian Voss become Don, I was both his wife and the sharpest weapon in his hand. Until the day of our daughter's birthday. 7-year-old Mia was struck by a car arranged by Adrian's enemies. As her life hung by a thread, I called him 38 times. He never answered. Later, I learned that he was at the Royal Crown Casino, spending millions at the tables with his first love, Celeste Arden. At that moment, whatever I had once felt for Adrian died with our daughter. When he finally returned, carrying the perfume of another woman on his coat, I pretended not to notice. Adrian frowned. Celeste is still young. The casino isn't safe for her. I had no choice but to stay. Celeste was 28. Only 3 years younger than me. I said nothing. I only nodded. My silence seemed to offend him. Adrian grabbed me by the throat and pushed me against the wall. Evelyn, our daughter was hurt. Do you think I don't care? His eyes were dark with anger. Do you have to act like this every time Celeste is involved? His fingers tightened. And it was only a minor accident. You're the Don's wife. Show some composure. I looked at the man I had once loved enough to betray my own family for. Then I laughed. Coldly. Adrian didn't know that Mia was already dead. He didn't know that our daughter's small body had gone cold while she waited for him. And he didn't know that neither he nor the Voss family had a place in my life anymore. Seeing that I remained silent, Adrian released my throat. He casually tossed a gift box onto the table. Celeste is the daughter of my father's oldest friend. She grew up beside me and has always been thoughtless. His voice became impatient. You're my wife. Don't lower yourself by competing with her. He pushed the box closer. This is an apology gift from Celeste. Let's put the past behind us. I looked at the box. It was a luxury skincare set. The day before, I had seen it on Celeste's social media. Dozens of expensive gifts had been stacked behind her. Her caption read, Adrian bought me too much again. What am I supposed to do with all these extras? So annoying. So I was expected to accept Celeste's unwanted leftovers. When I didn't reach for the box, Adrian's expression became colder. Why is the house freezing? He looked toward the dining room. There isn't even a hot meal. His eyes narrowed. Evelyn, you're becoming lazier every day. On the dining table sat Mia's memorial portrait. White flowers surrounded her smiling face. Adrian only needed to turn his head slightly to see it. But his eyes remained fixed on the woman standing near the door. Celeste walked inside. She wore a plain white dress. Her eyes were red. She looked like a frightened rabbit. Adrian. She stayed behind him. Does Evelyn not welcome me? She lowered her head. Maybe I should leave. I ignored her. I gently wiped the small wooden horse in my hands. It had been Mia's favorite toy. My daughter used to carry it everywhere. Now, a small compartment inside it held her ashes. I traced the painted mane with my fingertips. It felt like touching Mia's soft hair. Adrian strode toward me. Before I understood what he intended to do, he kicked the wooden horse from my hands. It struck the wall and fell onto the floor. Enough. His voice echoed through the house. Celeste came here out of goodwill. Stop acting so cold. My fingers froze. Adrian looked around. And where is Mia? Celeste's eyes flickered. Adrian didn't notice. Is she hiding because of a small injury? He laughed without warmth. Mannerless child. He pointed toward the stairs. Call her down to greet Celeste. Celeste spoke gently. Adrian, Mia is probably still upset with you. Her voice was full of false understanding. It was her birthday. Children believe birthdays are more important than work. Adrian's expression softened when he looked at her. Then he turned toward me. You've spoiled her. My hands tightened around the cloth. Call her down now. I didn't move. Adrian's face darkened. If she refuses to come, I'll destroy her favorite toy. He waved one hand. The men behind him raised their guns. The barrels pointed toward the wooden horse lying in the corner. I slowly lifted my head. For the first time, I looked at Adrian as if he were already dead. She isn't coming down. My voice was calm. She's asleep. Adrian frowned. Then wake her. She'll never wake up again. The room became silent. I looked at him. She won't ask you to attend another birthday. She won't ask why you love Celeste more. She won't wait beside the window for you to come home. My voice became lower. She's dead. Celeste's face lost its color. Adrian stared at me. Then he scoffed. Enough of this performance. He didn't believe me. Perhaps he couldn't. Perhaps believing me would require him to admit what kind of father he had become. You won't call her down? He looked at the gunman. Fine. Adrian pointed at the wooden horse. Destroy it. The man pulled the trigger. I moved before the shot was fired. I caught his wrist and twisted. A sharp crack echoed through the room. The man screamed. The gun fell into my hand. In one movement, I pressed it against his temple. Adrian's expression changed. He drew his own weapon. The barrel pressed against my forehead. Evelyn. His voice shook with rage. Have you lost your mind? You dare attack one of my men? I looked directly into his eyes. He continued. Don't forget who saved your life 6 years ago. Saved me. That was the story Adrian told everyone. 6 years earlier, during a power struggle, I was betrayed by an underboss I trusted. Adrian took a bullet for me. At the time, he was no one. Only the illegitimate son of a minor Mafia captain. After I recovered, he confessed that he had fallen in love with me the first time he saw me. My father despised Adrian's background. But I loved him. So I hid my true identity. I left Sicily. I used my mother's maiden name. I married Adrian and gave him everything. Money. Information. Alliances. Blood. With my help, he destroyed his brothers and became Don of the Voss family. People believed Adrian had conquered the city through his own strength. They didn't know I had cleared every obstacle before he reached it. I had been his wife. His strategist. His executioner. His blade. Now, all I could see was Mia's pale face before she died. Blood had covered her hair. Her breathing had been weak. She held my fingers and whispered. Mom. When will Dad come? I'll be good. I won't eat candy anymore. I won't ask him to carry me. As long as he comes home and loves me a little. Her voice had disappeared. Okay? I stared at the dark muzzle of Adrian's gun. The final trace of warmth inside me turned to ash. I released his man. Then I placed the gun on the table. Your debt has been repaid. Adrian narrowed his eyes. What are you talking about? The bullet you took for me. I looked at him. For 6 years, I paid for it with my life. I bent down and picked up Mia's wooden horse. One bullet wasn't worth my daughter. Then I walked toward the door. Adrian grabbed my arm. Where are you going? Home. He laughed angrily. This is your home. No. I looked around at the mansion I had purchased and placed in his name. It never was. Adrian didn't follow me. He believed I would return. I had left before. Sometimes after arguments. Sometimes when Celeste went too far. I always came back. I came back because Mia loved her father. I came back because I remembered the young man who took a bullet for me. I came back because I kept believing that loyalty could turn gratitude into love. This time, Mia was gone. There was nothing left to bring me back. Outside the mansion, a black car was waiting. The driver stepped out and opened the rear door. He lowered his head. Signora Valenti. I hadn't heard that name spoken aloud in 6 years. Evelyn Valenti. The only daughter of Don Lorenzo Valenti. The sole heir of one of Sicily's oldest families. My father sat inside the car. Time had made his hair gray. It had not made him less powerful. He looked at the bruise around my throat. Then he looked at the wooden horse in my hands. For a long time, neither of us spoke. Finally, my father opened his arms. I entered the car. The moment the door closed, I became his daughter again. I pressed my face against his chest. Papa. His arms tightened around me. I'm here. That was all he said. I began to cry. Not the quiet tears I had allowed myself beside Mia's hospital bed. I sobbed until my body shook. My father held me. He did not tell me to be strong. He did not ask why I had stayed. He did not remind me that he had warned me about Adrian. He simply held me while I broke. After a long time, he asked, "Where is my granddaughter?" I gave him the wooden horse. My father's hands trembled. He had only met Mia in secret. Once a year. Adrian believed the kind elderly man who visited us was an old family friend. Mia called him Grandpa Run. She loved sitting on his shoulders. My father pressed the wooden horse against his chest. His eyes closed. What happened? Someone leaked her birthday route. His expression became cold. Adrian's enemies? That's what the police believe. And what do you believe? I don't know yet. My father looked at me. What do you want? I stared through the window at Adrian's mansion. 6 years earlier, it had been almost empty. The Voss family had been weak. Its soldiers were divided. Its accounts were frozen. I had rebuilt everything. Now lights glowed behind every window. Armed men stood at the gates. Adrian believed it all belonged to him. Take back every Valenti asset supporting the Voss family. My father's gaze sharpened. Everything? Everything. The ports? Yes. The casinos? Yes. The weapons routes? Yes. The political accounts? Yes. I looked down at Mia's wooden horse. And call the captains who swore loyalty to me before they swore loyalty to Adrian. A faint smile appeared on my father's face. How many remain loyal? All of them. Adrian had never understood why his captains obeyed so quickly. He thought they feared him. They didn't. They feared disappointing me. My father took out his phone. When? Midnight. He began making calls. I looked back at the mansion one last time. Adrian had 6 hours left as dawn. He just didn't know it yet. After I left, Adrian ordered dinner. Celeste sat beside him. She poured wine into his glass and gently rubbed his shoulder. She's only trying to frighten you. Adrian looked toward the empty staircase. Evelyn has never stayed angry for long. Celeste hesitated. She said Mia was dead. She was lying. His answer came too quickly. One of his men shifted uncomfortably. Adrian noticed. What? The man lowered his head. Boss, there were flowers outside the child's school this morning. Adrian's fingers tightened around the wineglass. What flowers? A memorial. The glass cracked in his hand. Celeste jumped. Adrian stood. Why didn't anyone tell me? The man swallowed. We thought you knew. Adrian grabbed his jacket. Celeste caught his arm. Where are you going? To Mia's room. You should give Evelyn time. He looked at her. Something in her expression made him stop. Why? Celeste released him. What? Why don't you want me to go upstairs? I never said that. Adrian walked toward the stairs. Celeste followed. Mia might only be staying somewhere else. He opened the child's bedroom door. The room was empty. The bed had been made. The closet doors were open. Most of Mia's clothes were gone. Only one pink dress remained. The birthday dress. It was hanging near the window. A hospital bracelet had been placed across it. Adrian walked toward it slowly. Mia Voss. Age, 7. Time of death, 4:16 p.m. His face became pale. No. Celeste stood near the door. Adrian. He looked at the date. The same day he had spent at the casino. The same hour Celeste convinced him to turn off his phone. His hand began shaking. No. He grabbed the bracelet. This is fake. He looked around. Evelyn made this. Celeste's breathing changed. Adrian noticed. He walked toward her. What do you know? Nothing. You were with me. Yes. You told me Mia only had a minor injury. That's what I heard. From whom? Celeste looked away. Adrian caught her face. From whom? Your security chief. Leon? Yes. Leon Mercer had been responsible for Mia's route that day. Adrian released Celeste and called him. The call went straight to voicemail. He called again. Nothing. Adrian rushed downstairs. Find Leon. One of his men looked at his phone. Boss. What? The port captains are requesting emergency meetings. Tell them tomorrow. They're withdrawing their men. Adrian stopped. What? Another man entered the dining room. The Royal Crown Casino account has been frozen. A third appeared behind him. The East Harbor shipment was turned back. Adrian's expression became dark. Who authorized that? No one knows. His phone began ringing. One captain. Then another. Then 3 more. Adrian answered the first call. What is happening? The captain's voice was calm. Our agreement is over. What agreement? The one with your wife. Adrian looked toward the doorway. What does Evelyn have to do with my ports? The man laughed once. Then the call ended. Adrian stared at the phone. Celeste whispered. What does that mean? He didn't answer. For the first time, he wondered whether the woman he had married was not the woman he thought he knew. At midnight, 14 Voss captains entered the old Valenti estate outside the city. They arrived without their usual soldiers. Each man surrendered his weapon at the door. My father sat at the head of the long table. I stood beside him. When the captains saw me, all 14 lowered their heads. Donna Evelyn. The title echoed through the room. For 6 years, they had called me Mrs. Voss in public. Privately, they knew the truth. The first captain, Samuel Rizzo, placed a silver ring on the table. The Valenti crest was engraved inside it. I swore loyalty to Don Lorenzo before Adrian Voss knew my name. The second captain did the same. Then the third. Soon, 14 rings lay before me. My father looked at the men. Why did you allow my daughter's child to die? Silence filled the room. Samuel's face became pale. We didn't know about the threat. You were responsible for the city. Adrian replaced me as Valenti guards 3 months ago. I looked at him. What? Samuel nodded. He said too many of the child's men answered to you instead of him. My chest tightened. He assigned Leon Mercer's team. Who is Leon working for? We believed Adrian. You believed wrong. Samuel lowered his head. I accept punishment. My father looked at me. The decision belonged to me. I stared at the men. They had failed Mia. But they had not betrayed her deliberately. Find Leon. Samuel nodded. Alive? Yes. My voice became cold. I want him to explain who sold my daughter's route. One of the captains, Marcus Hale, pushed a folder toward me. We found payments from an Arden account. Celeste. I opened it. 3 weeks before Mia's birthday, one of Celeste's companies transferred $500,000 into an offshore account controlled by Leon's brother. The payment description read: Casino Security Consultation. I felt nothing. No shock. No disbelief. Only a cold, quiet certainty. My father asked. Do we know whether Adrian approved it? Not yet. Samuel looked at me. But Leon met Adrian privately the night before the accident. My fingers tightened around the folder. What did they discuss? We don't have audio. Find it. Yes, Donna. My father leaned back. What about the Voss organization? The captains waited. I looked at each man. Tomorrow morning, all Valenti money leaves Voss accounts. All soldiers assigned through our alliances stand down. All judges, police contacts and officials who accepted Valenti payments will stop protecting Adrian. The men nodded. Will we remove him? Samuel asked. No. Everyone looked at me. I touched Mia's wooden horse. Not yet. Why? Adrian believes power belongs to the man sitting in the chair. I looked toward the dark window. I want him to remain seated while he learns the chair was always mine. By sunrise, Adrian's empire was collapsing. 3 casinos closed for emergency inspections. 2 warehouses were raided. His private bank refused to process withdrawals. The mayor stopped answering his calls. 5 captains announced that they were suspending operations. Adrian stood inside his office, staring at the financial reports. This is impossible. His advisor placed another folder on the desk. The Voss family has lost access to the Valenti shipping network. Adrian looked up. What Valenti shipping network? The advisor became silent. Adrian slammed his hand against the desk. Answer me. Most of our international routes were arranged through Valenti companies. Why was I never told? Mrs. Voss handled those agreements. Adrian stared at him. Evelyn? Yes. Evelyn has no family. The advisor's face became strange. Boss. What? Her father is Lorenzo Valenti. Adrian laughed. The advisor did not. Slowly, Adrian stopped smiling. No. Her full name is Evelyn Sophia Valenti. That's not possible. The documents are verified. The advisor placed a photograph on the desk. It showed me at 17. I stood beside my father during a private Sicilian ceremony. Behind us were men Adrian had spent years trying to impress. They were lowering their heads to me. Adrian picked up the photograph. His hands shook. Why would she hide this? Perhaps because she wanted to know whether you loved her without the name. Celeste entered the office. She stopped when she saw Adrian's face. What happened? He turned toward her. Did you know? Know what? That Evelyn is a Valenti. Celeste stared at him. Then she laughed nervously. That's ridiculous. Adrian threw the photograph at her. Celeste caught it. The color drained from her face. No. Adrian walked around the desk. You told me she had no one. That's what you told me. You said she was clinging to me because she had nowhere else to go. I believed you. He grabbed her arm. Did you know? No. Celeste pulled free. She lived like a nobody. She lived like that because she chose to. Adrian looked around the office. Every painting. Every weapon. Every property. Had Evelyn paid for them? Had the men outside his door obeyed because of her? Had he ever owned anything? His phone rang. Samuel Rizzo. Adrian answered immediately. Where are you? With Donna Evelyn. Adrian's face tightened. She is my wife. She is the Valenti heir. She helped make me Don. Samuel's voice became cold. She made you Don. The call ended. Adrian stared at the dark screen. Celeste walked closer. Adrian, we can fix this. How? My father still has contacts. Your father owns clubs and hotels. He has politicians. Those politicians were paid through Evelyn. Celeste's face became pale. Adrian pressed both hands against the desk. For 6 years, he believed he had climbed from nothing through strength. Now, he understood. He had not climbed. I had carried him. We buried Mia on a hill overlooking the sea. Only family attended. My father stood beside me. My 3 cousins from Sicily stood behind us. The Voss captains remained at a distance. Adrian was not invited. I placed Mia's wooden horse beside the small white coffin. For days, I had carried her ashes inside it. But my father insisted that Mia deserved Valenti ground. A place where every person guarding her grave understood whose child she was. The priest spoke. I heard nothing. I remembered Mia chasing birds through the garden. Mia hiding candy inside her shoes. Mia waiting beside the door whenever Adrian promised to come home. When the coffin was lowered, my knees weakened. A hand caught my arm. Luca Ferraro stood beside me. He had been my father's consigliere for the past 4 years. Before that, he had been my childhood friend. Luca was the one who found me after the betrayal 6 years earlier. He was the one who carried me to safety before Adrian took the bullet. Adrian's sacrifice had saved my body. Luca's loyalty had saved everything else. Breathe, he said quietly. I can't. Yes, you can. His hand remained beneath my elbow. One breath. I forced air into my lungs. Another. I obeyed. After the ceremony, everyone left slowly. I remained beside the grave. Luca waited several feet away. You don't have to stay, I said. I know. Then why are you here? Because you are. I looked at Mia's name carved into the stone. Adrian still hasn't seen her. He came to the gate. My head turned. When? This morning. Why didn't anyone tell me? You were preparing for the burial. What happened? Your father refused to let him enter. I closed my eyes. Part of me had wanted Adrian to see the coffin. I wanted him to understand. Another part of me never wanted his shadow near Mia again. Luca stepped closer. He left this. He handed me an envelope. Inside was a photograph of Adrian holding Mia when she was a baby. On the back, he had written. I didn't know. I tore it in half. Luca watched. Do you believe him? No. Do you believe he arranged the accident? I don't know. But you believe Celeste was involved? Yes. Luca looked toward the sea. Leon Mercer was found this morning. Alive? For now. I turned toward him. Where? An abandoned chapel near the northern border. Take me there. Evelyn. I said take me. Luca studied my face. Then he nodded. Leon Mercer had once been one of Adrian's most trusted men. Now he was tied to a chair beneath a broken church window. Blood covered one side of his face. Samuel Rizzo stood nearby. He tried to run. I walked toward Leon. His eyes widened when he saw me. Mrs. Voss. No. I pulled a chair in front of him. Evelyn Valenti. Fear entered his face. He had already learned the truth. I placed Celeste's payment records on his lap. Who ordered the attack on my daughter? Leon swallowed. No one ordered the child killed. That wasn't my question. The Veros were planning to strike Adrian's family. The Vero organization controlled several northern casinos. They had been Adrian's enemies for years. How did they know Mia's route? Leon looked down. I lifted his chin. How? Celeste. The word entered the room like a blade. What did she give you? Money. What did she ask for? Your daughter's birthday schedule. My fingers became cold. Why? She said she wanted to frighten you. The same excuse Adrian had used for every cruel act. What did she tell the Veros? That Adrian would be inside the second car. My breathing stopped. Mia had been traveling in the second car. Did Celeste know which vehicle Mia would use? Yes. Samuel swore quietly. Leon began speaking faster. She wanted the Veros to attack the convoy. She said no one would kill a child. She believed they would fire on the security vehicles and make you afraid. She said you would take Mia and leave Adrian. I stared at him. And Adrian? Leon became silent. Luca stepped closer. What did Adrian know? Leon's eyes moved toward the floor. I pulled my gun. The barrel pressed beneath his chin. What did my husband know? Leon began trembling. He knew there was a threat. Everything inside me became still. When? The night before the accident. What did you tell him? That the Veros might target the birthday convoy. What did he say? Leon closed his eyes. He told me not to cancel the casino event. Why? Celeste had arranged a meeting with investors. I laughed once. The sound was empty. He chose the casino. Leon nodded. He said to add another car. Did you tell him Mia might be in danger? Yes. What did he say? Leon's voice became almost inaudible. He said the Veros wouldn't dare hurt a child. I lowered the gun. Adrian had known. He had known there was a threat. He had known Mia's birthday convoy might be attacked. He still went to the casino. He still turned off his phone. He still stayed with Celeste while our daughter died. Luca touched my shoulder. I stepped away. Who changed Mia's vehicle? Leon looked at me. What? She was supposed to ride in the first car. He became pale. I received a message from Adrian's private number. My heart stopped. What message? It said Celeste would use the first car after the casino. So Mia was moved to the second. Yes. Did Adrian send it? I thought he did. Do you still have the message? The phone was destroyed. Samuel placed a device on the table. We recovered the cloud backup. A message appeared on the screen. It came from Adrian's number. Move Mia to vehicle 2. Celeste needs the first car later. I stared at it. The timestamp was 2 hours before the accident. Could Celeste have used his phone? Luca asked. Leon nodded quickly. She had access. I looked at the message. Adrian might not have sent it. But he had created a world where Celeste could give orders in his name. He had allowed her to command his men. He had given her access to his phone. His cars. His power. Whether he pressed the button or not, his choices had placed Mia in that vehicle. Take Leon to the authorities, I said. Samuel frowned. The authorities? Yes. He can testify. Leon looked relieved. Then I added. And freeze every account belonging to the Arden family. Celeste was arrested at the Royal Crown Casino. She screamed as federal agents placed her in handcuffs. The casino floor was full. Cameras captured everything. For years, Celeste had posted photographs of herself beside Adrian. She called herself the future queen of the city. Now the same people who once envied her watched her being dragged across the marble floor. She looked directly into one camera. Adrian. She shouted his name. Help me. Adrian arrived 20 minutes later. By then, the agents had already taken her. Reporters surrounded him. Don Voss, did Celeste Arden arrange the attack on your daughter? Did you know the convoy was under threat? Did you ignore your wife's calls? Did Ms. Arden use your private phone to change the child's vehicle? Adrian said nothing. His security team forced a path through the crowd. That evening, he came to the Valenti estate. He stood outside the gates for 3 hours. My father refused to let him enter. At midnight, Adrian began shouting my name. I watched from an upstairs window. Rain soaked his suit. The powerful Don of the Voss family stood alone outside my father's gates. No soldiers. No captains. No Celeste. Only regret. Luca stood near the door. You don't have to see him. I know. Then don't. I looked at Adrian. I need to hear what he says. My father objected. I insisted. Adrian was searched before entering. He was brought into the main hall. The last time he saw me, I had been wearing the black dress from Mia's funeral. Now I wore white. Adrian stared at me. His eyes were red. You buried her. Yes. Without me. You weren't her father when she needed one. He flinched. I didn't know she would die. You knew the convoy was threatened. Leon told me it was only a rumor. He told you the Varos might attack. They had made threats before. So you ignored this one. I increased security. You replaced my guards with Leon's men. Because your men answered to you. They would have kept Mia alive. Adrian's breathing changed. I was trying to protect my authority. From your wife? I didn't know who you were. I laughed coldly. You knew I was the woman who built your empire. I didn't know about the Valenti name. That shouldn't have mattered. It changes everything. No. I stepped closer. It only changes how afraid you are of losing me. His face twisted. I loved you. You loved my loyalty. That isn't true. You left our daughter exposed because you were afraid my men respected me more than you. I made a mistake. You made hundreds. I began counting them. You gave Celeste access to your private phone. You allowed her to command your soldiers. You ignored a credible threat. You stayed at the casino while I called 38 times. I didn't see the calls. You turned off your phone. Adrian closed his eyes. Celeste asked me to. And you listened. She said the investors would think I was distracted. Our daughter was dying. I didn't know. His voice echoed through the hall. I looked at him. That is the only defense you have. I didn't know Celeste leaked the route. You didn't know Mia had died. You didn't know who paid for your empire. You didn't know your captains were loyal to me. I stepped closer. How many things can a Don refuse to know before he becomes unworthy of the title? Adrian's face became pale. What do you want? My position back. His eyes widened. What position? The one I gave you. You can't take the Voss family. I already have. He shook his head. No. 14 captains have withdrawn their loyalty. They'll return. They swore to me tonight. Adrian stared at me. You planned this. I built this. That family carries my name. And my blood. His expression became desperate. You want to become Don? No. I looked toward my father. I'm already Don of Valenti. Adrian's face collapsed. I continued. The Voss organization will be dissolved. Every legal business will transfer to a new holding company. Every criminal route will close. Every man who chooses to remain with you will do so without Valenti protection. His hands began shaking. You're destroying me. No. You destroyed yourself. Celeste denied everything. She claimed Leon had framed her. Then investigators found the messages. If Evelyn leaves, Adrian will finally see that I belong beside him. The child is the only reason she stays. No one is going to hurt Mia. I only need the convoy frightened. The final message had been sent to Leon on the morning of the accident. Move the girl into the second vehicle. I need the first car tonight. Use Adrian's phone so no one questions it. Celeste had not intended for Mia to die. That was what her attorney repeated. She had only intended to expose a 7-year-old child to an armed attack. As if intention could wash blood from her hands. Adrian publicly distanced himself from her. Celeste responded by releasing photographs and messages from their relationship. The city learned that Adrian had purchased her apartment. That he had transferred casino shares to her. That he had spent Mia's birthday promising Celeste a future. One voice message spread everywhere. Adrian sounded amused. Evelyn will never leave. She has nowhere else to go. The recording had been made less than an hour before Mia was hit. Adrian's remaining allies disappeared. The men who once celebrated him stopped answering. The city saw what I had always hidden. Adrian Voss had not been a great Don. He had been a man standing inside a fortress built by his wife. Without me, the walls collapsed. Celeste asked to see me before her trial. I agreed. She wore a prison uniform. Her blonde hair had lost its shine. She sat behind thick glass and picked up the phone. You look pleased. No. You finally won. There was no competition. She laughed bitterly. There was always a competition. Only to you. You had everything. I had a daughter. Her face changed. I didn't mean for Mia to die. You meant for armed men to attack her car. I thought the guards would handle it. You thought a child's life was an acceptable risk. I needed you to leave. Why? So Adrian could choose freely. I stared at her. Did he choose you? Celeste's fingers tightened around the phone. He loved me. He abandoned you the moment you were arrested. He had no choice. He always had a choice. The truth entered her face slowly. She had spent years believing Adrian's excuses. The same excuses I had once believed. He said you were cold, she whispered. He said you only cared about power. He said the marriage was over. Then why didn't he leave? Celeste said nothing. Because he needed me. I continued. And he wanted you. He kept both of us because we allowed it. Tears filled her eyes. You're blaming me for trusting him. No. I'm blaming you for sacrificing my daughter to keep him. She pressed one hand against the glass. I'm sorry. No, you're afraid. I am afraid. At least that was honest. What will happen to me? The court will decide. Your family controls the court. Not this one. She stared at me. You're really letting the law handle it? Yes. Why? Because prison lasts longer than revenge. I placed the phone down. Celeste shouted my name. I walked away. The Voss Council met for the final time inside Adrian's old headquarters. Every captain attended. My father sat near the window. Luca stood behind me. Adrian entered alone. He looked thinner. His expensive suit hung loosely from his shoulders. The chair at the head of the table remained empty. Adrian walked toward it. Samuel blocked him. That seat no longer belongs to you. Adrian stared at him. I am still Don. Samuel removed the Voss ring from his hand. Then he placed it on the table. No. One by one, every captain did the same. 14 rings formed a line. Adrian looked at the men he had commanded for 6 years. You're betraying me. Samuel shook his head. We are ending a mistake. Adrian turned toward me. This is your doing. Yes. You poisoned them against me. They watched your choices. You used me as death to take power. The room became silent. Luca stepped forward. I lifted one hand. He stopped. I looked at Adrian. Say that again. Adrian's face changed. But pride would not allow him to retreat. You wanted my chair. I gave you the chair. You never respected me as Don. I killed 3 men to secure your succession. I negotiated the Moretti alliance. I purchased the loyalty of the Eastern captains. I paid the debts your father left behind. My voice became colder with every sentence. I wrote every strategy you presented as your own. I arranged every political connection. I protected your illegitimate birth from men who would have used it against you. Adrian looked around the table. No one denied it. You were nothing when I found you, I said. I loved you enough to make the world kneel. His eyes became red. And how did you repay me? He looked down. I removed the Voss family ring from my pocket. It was the ring Adrian had given me on our wedding day. I placed it on the table. I released the captains from every oath made to Adrian Voss. The men stood. They lowered their heads to me. Donna Valenti. Adrian remained frozen. The title filled the room. I turned toward him. You are no longer Don. His face became empty. What happens to me? You keep the property you owned before our marriage. He laughed bitterly. I owned nothing. I know. The room became silent again. You will receive enough money to live. Charity? Repayment. For what? The bullet you took 6 years ago. I looked directly into his eyes. Our debt is settled. Adrian's lips trembled. You can't leave me with nothing. I'm leaving you with exactly what you gave me. What? Regret. Adrian refused to accept the council's decision. For 3 weeks, he tried to rebuild. He contacted old allies. They refused him. He tried to access hidden accounts. I had already frozen them. He approached the Varos. They laughed. Without Valenti protection, Adrian was only a former Don with too many enemies. Then he began calling me. The first message was angry. You had no right to take my family. The second was desperate. We built everything together. The third came at 3 in the morning. I dreamed about Mia. I deleted all of them. One evening, he appeared outside Mia's grave. Luca and I were already there. Adrian stood several yards away. He held a small bag of candy. Mia's favorite kind. My chest tightened. He looked at the stone. Then at me. May I? I didn't answer. Adrian walked slowly toward the grave. He placed the candy beside the flowers. For a long time, he said nothing. Then he knelt. I'm sorry. His voice broke. I'm sorry, baby. Tears fell onto the grass. I should have answered. I should have come. I should have chosen you. I turned away. Luca remained beside me. Adrian looked toward us. His expression changed when he saw Luca's hand near mine. So it's him. I looked at him. What? You took everything and replaced me. Luca's face became cold. I answered first. No one replaced you. Then why is he here? Because he came when Mia needed help. Adrian stood. What does that mean? Luca reached the hospital before you. He stared at Luca. You knew? Luca's voice was calm. I was the one who identified her body. Adrian's face lost all color. You? Evelyn couldn't do it alone. Adrian looked at me. You called him? I called everyone. You answered none of them. He flinched. Luca continued. I held your daughter while doctors tried to revive her. Stop. I heard her ask for you. Adrian's face twisted. I said stop. Luca stepped closer. And you were at a casino. Adrian swung at him. Luca caught his arm easily. For 1 second, I saw murder in Luca's eyes. Let him go, I said. Luca released Adrian. Adrian stumbled backward. He looked at me. Did she really ask for me? I remained silent. His voice cracked. Evelyn. Yes. I forced myself to say the words. She asked when you were coming. Adrian covered his face. The sound he made was broken. I felt no satisfaction. Only exhaustion. After several minutes, he whispered. I would give everything to change that day. You already lost everything. He looked up. What else do you want from me? Nothing. That answer destroyed him more than hatred could have. Celeste was convicted of conspiracy, reckless endangerment, bribery and involvement in the attack that caused Mia's death. She received 22 years. Leon received 12 in exchange for his testimony. Several Vero soldiers were convicted of murder. Adrian was not criminally charged. There was no proof that he ordered the attack. The law could not punish him for ignoring warnings. It could not imprison him for turning off his phone. It could not sentence him for choosing Celeste while his daughter died. His punishment was smaller and larger. He had to live with it. The Royal Crown Casino became the Mia Valenti Children's Hospital. My father purchased the property and transferred it to me. We removed every gaming table. The private rooms where Adrian and Celeste had spent Mia's final hours became pediatric recovery suites. At the opening ceremony, reporters asked why I had chosen that building. Because places do not belong to the worst things that happened inside them, I said. They can be remade. Luca stood near the back of the room. He had spent the past year beside me without asking for anything. When nightmares woke me, he stayed. When I became obsessed with rebuilding, he reminded me to eat. When I was angry, he allowed me to be angry. He never told me to be composed. He never called my grief jealousy. One evening, we stood inside Mia's hospital room. It had never been used by a patient. I kept it as a quiet space for grieving parents. A wooden horse sat near the window. Luca looked at it. Is that hers? No. I touched the new toy. The original is with her. He nodded. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then I asked. Why did you never marry? Luca looked at me. You know why? No. I suspected. That isn't the same. His expression became serious. Because I loved someone who chose another man. My heart tightened. How long? Since Sicily. That was before Adrian. Yes. Why didn't you say anything? Your father would have accepted me. That sounds like a reason to speak. You wanted freedom. He stepped closer. You were tired of every man wanting the Valenti heir. Adrian didn't know. No. And I believed that was what you needed. Were you angry? Yes. Did you hate him? Yes. His honesty almost made me smile. Did you hate me? Never. Even when I helped him become Don? Especially then. I looked away. I gave him everything. I know. And I have nothing left. Luca lifted my chin. That isn't true. My daughter is dead. Yes. His voice remained soft. You will carry that forever. Tears filled my eyes. But grief is not nothing. He continued. It is proof that Mia was here. My lips trembled. I don't know how to love anyone again. I didn't ask you to. Then what do you want? Tomorrow. I stared at him. He smiled faintly. Give me tomorrow. No promises after that? None. I nodded. All right. The next day, Luca came back. Then the day after that. Adrian disappeared from the city 2 years after Mia's death. Some said he moved south. Others said he worked for a small security company under another name. He wrote to me once. The letter contained no demand. No apology. Only one page. Evelyn. I spent my entire life believing power meant making people stay. You stayed when I was nothing. You stayed when I was cruel. You stayed every time Celeste humiliated you. I thought that proved I owned your love. Now I understand it only proved how much you were willing to forgive. I do not deserve forgiveness. Every night, I hear Mia asking me to come home. There is no home left to return to. You were right. I loved the life you gave me, but I did not know how to love the people inside it. I folded the letter. Then I placed it beside Mia's photograph. I did not answer. There was nothing left to say. That winter, Luca took me to Sicily. My father wanted me to assume full control of the Valenti family. The ceremony took place inside an old stone chapel. Captains from Italy, America and France attended. I stood before them wearing black. My father removed the Valenti ring from his hand. He placed it on mine. Evelyn Sophia Valenti. His voice carried through the chapel. My daughter. My heir. My Donna. Every person in the room lowered their head. For years, I had used my strength to build a throne for another person. Now I accepted my own. After the ceremony, Luca found me on the terrace. You look frightened, he said. I'm not frightened. You're holding the railing hard enough to break it. I released my hand. What if I become like Adrian? You won't. How do you know? Because you're afraid of it. That isn't enough. No. Luca stood beside me. But you also listen when people tell you the truth. I looked toward the sea. Will you? What? Tell me the truth. Even when you hate it. I'll probably threaten you. I expect it. I might point a gun at you. I would prefer a warning. I laughed. The sound surprised me. Luca looked at me. For the first time in 2 years, the laughter did not immediately turn into guilt. He touched my hand. Evelyn. Yes? I have been taking tomorrow for a long time. I noticed. May I ask for more? My heart began beating faster. How much? The rest. I looked at him. He did not kneel. He did not present a ring. He only stood beside me. Exactly where he had always stood. I can't promise to be the woman I was before. I don't want her. That sounds cruel. She loved a man who did not deserve her. I raised an eyebrow. Luca smiled. I want the woman standing here. The mother who survived Mia. The daughter who came home. The Donna who took back her name. My eyes filled with tears. And when I break? I stay. When I'm angry? I stay farther away, but I stay. I laughed through the tears. And if I never stop missing her? I will miss her with you. That was the moment I chose him. Not because he promised to heal me. Because he understood that some wounds were not meant to disappear. Luca and I married quietly. There were no reporters. No political guests. No giant celebration. Only family. We married beside the sea, near Mia's grave. My father walked me down the stone path. He tried not to cry. He failed. Luca waited beneath an olive tree. When I reached him, he touched the small wooden horse charm hanging from my necklace. Mia's name was engraved on the back. She's here, he said. Yes. During his vows, Luca did not promise me happiness. He promised honesty. He promised loyalty. He promised never to make me smaller so he could feel powerful. When it was my turn, I looked at the man who had remained beside me through every part of my grief. I once believed love was debt. I said. Adrian saved my life, so I believed I owed him the rest of it. Luca's eyes remained on mine. I thought loyalty meant staying no matter what someone destroyed. I was wrong. I touched his hand. Love does not demand payment. It does not use sacrifice as a chain. It does not ask a child to beg for her father's attention. My voice trembled. Love comes home. Luca's eyes became wet. You always came. He kissed me gently. After the ceremony, we visited Mia. I placed a small flower crown on her grave. She would have liked you, I said. Luca sat beside the stone. She did like me. She was 5 when she met you. She had excellent judgment. I smiled. She told me you looked scary. That was Adrian's influence. No. It was your face. Luca laughed. Then his expression softened. I wish I had arrived sooner. So do I. The honesty hurt. But it did not destroy us. I took his hand. We can't change that day. No. We can only decide what happens after it. Luca squeezed my fingers. That's enough. For the first time, it was. Epilogue. 5 years after Mia's death, I stood inside the main hall of the Mia Valenti Children's Hospital. The former casino had become one of the best pediatric trauma centers in the country. The room where Adrian once spent millions at the tables was now a family waiting area. The private bar where Celeste had posted photographs had become a free kitchen for parents. The suite where Adrian turned off his phone had become an emergency surgical wing. Nothing remained of the Royal Crown Casino except the building. Luca stood beside me holding our 2-year-old son. We named him Lorenzo after my father. My son had Mia's dark eyes. Sometimes that hurt. Sometimes it felt like a gift. A young mother approached me after the ceremony. Her son had survived a serious accident because of the hospital. Donna Valenti. Her voice shook. I wanted to thank you. You don't have to. If this hospital hadn't existed. She looked at her child. I understood. I touched her shoulder. He's here. Yes. She began crying. So are you, I said. After she walked away, Luca looked at me. You're thinking about Mia. I always am. Bad day? No. I watched children running through the bright hallway. Different day. My father approached carrying a small gift box. What is that? I asked. He handed it to me. Inside was a repaired wooden horse. The original. The one Adrian had kicked across the room. The one that once held Mia's ashes. My father had restored every crack. I touched the painted mane. How? Your brothers found the missing pieces. My eyes filled with tears. Luca placed one arm around me. My father looked toward the hospital entrance. There is someone outside. I knew before he said the name. Adrian? Yes. 5 years had passed since I last saw him. He stood beyond the glass doors. His hair had become gray near the temples. His clothes were simple. He looked older than his age. A security guard waited beside him. He asked only to see the hospital, my father said. I looked at Luca. He did not tell me what to do. He never did. Let him enter. Adrian walked slowly through the main hall. Children's drawings covered the walls. Mia's photograph hung near the entrance. Beneath it was a small plaque. Mia Valenti Voss. She waited for love. May every child here know they are already loved. Adrian stopped in front of it. His shoulders shook. He didn't touch the photograph. He looked at me. Thank you. For what? For keeping her name. She was never yours to erase. He nodded. His eyes moved toward Luca and our son. Pain crossed his face. Then he looked back at Mia's photograph. I don't expect forgiveness. Good. I only wanted to see what you built. I held the wooden horse against my chest. This was built from what you destroyed. His face tightened. I know. For a moment, I saw the young man who had taken a bullet for me. Then I saw the father who ignored 38 calls. Both men had always existed inside him. I had only chosen to see one. Adrian lowered his head. I'm sorry, Mia. Then he left. I watched him walk through the glass doors. I felt no need to follow. No anger. No love. Only the quiet end of something that had died years earlier. Luca came to stand beside me. Are you all right? Yes. Do you believe him? I believe he regrets it. Is that enough? For him, it has to be. I looked at our son. Then at the children inside the hospital. Then at Mia's smiling photograph. For 6 years, I had been Adrian's wife and his sharpest blade. I helped him become Don. I gave him an empire. I believed the bullet he took for me meant I owed him everything. But love was never supposed to be repayment. Mia taught me that too late. She waited for a father who chose someone else. I would carry that knowledge for the rest of my life. But I would also carry her laughter. Her stubbornness. The way she hid candy inside her pockets. The way she called the moon her nightlight. Adrian once believed my silence meant I would always stay. Celeste believed my patience meant I was weak. They were both wrong. I left. I took back my family. I took back the empire I had built. And I turned the place where my daughter was abandoned into a place where children would never be ignored. Adrian lost his throne. Celeste lost the future she tried to steal. But revenge was not the greatest thing I built. Mia's hospital was. Because destruction ended their story. What I created afterward became mine.